What is up, everyone? My name is Emily. I like to talk about books, and today I'm going to be doing my first ever book review. The book I will be reviewing is Legend. This book. How did I not read it sooner? Let's get to it. Okay, so Legend. I think this book encapsulates everything that is good about the Hunger Games and 1984 and puts it in this new kind of world that is extremely relevant. I don't know if that's the right word. Without getting like political about anything, just kind of the way that the world seems very divided right now and how things seem, this is right and this is wrong. And I think a lot of that is echoed in the book. It takes a lot of themes from, I think, The Hunger Games and 1984 by George Orwell. And so we're set in this futuristic, militarized republic. So basically, the United States of America is split between the colonies, which is like kind of east of the Rocky Mountains, and the Republic, which is the Pacific West. The Pacific West? It's like California and Texas and that area. But the Republic and the colonies are at war. They are like always at war. There's a lot of talk about the colonies sending spies in and vice versa, and there's a lot of propaganda going on. There's a lot of talk going on about the war. It's like basically all encompassing in this like universe, country, regime thing that's going on right now. So when they turn 10 years old, they take this test called the trial, and that basically determines where you're kind of placed in this society. So if you were placed really low or fail, you go to what they call a labor camp, and if you score really high, you get to be in kind of like an upper part of the military. You get treated really well. You're basically seen as like the top class of society, I guess is the best way to put it. So our two main characters are June and Day. We see both of their perspectives. June is a prodigy. She is the only person to have ever gotten a perfect score on the trial. And Day is the most wanted criminal in all of the Republic because of how to describe Day. He's kind of, I guess, what the government would call a domestic terrorist. He blows stuff up. He never kills anyone, but he kind of wreaks havoc. So those are our two main characters. We follow both of their perspectives. June is kind of, her brother is a captain, I believe, in the military. So they are both very respected, well known. That's kind of our two main characters that we follow here. So the story basically just revolves around June and Day and why their paths cross and how their paths cross. And getting to see both perspectives, I think, is so important because I think it really helps you empathize and understand both sides of the story, right? Like, there's always two sides to every story, and the world is not black and white. The world is in shades of gray. And I think that giving us the ability to see, the government's number one. This girl scored a perfect score on her trial exam. She is everything that the government and the world wants her to be. She's obedient, she's smart, she's fearless. She's an awesome character. She was very well written. We see exactly what the government wants her to be, and then we see the complete opposite of the spectrum, someone who is homeless, always on the run, wanted by the government. Everyone thinks he's dead. We see what he's doing and why he's doing it, and it helps us empathize and understand both sides to every story, right? And I think that is incredibly important when you're writing stuff like this because, we want to understand why people do the things that they do, whether they're right or wrong. And I find it way more interesting to know, we have this criminal, right, and the government is after him, and understanding exactly what's going on. Why is he doing this? How is he accomplishing this? And what are his motives? I think is much more fascinating, than if we had only gotten June's side of the story. And that's not to say that June or Day individually wouldn't have made an interesting plot, but I think being able to see how the stories intertwine with each other and how they affect each other and the shape of them that it takes throughout the book, I think is so fascinating, and it makes the book more interesting to us as the reader. There's a plague. That's not relevant at all. So there's a plague going on, and that's kind of a big thing as well. Things I really liked about the book. I loved the difference in voices between June and Day. I could really tell them apart on paper. I think it's really hard when you're doing multiple perspectives to really get a unique voice for each character. I felt they both had a very unique voice. I thought the storyline was really compelling. I thought the pacing was really great. I think that Marie Lu really was able to give this book just quick pacing. It was intriguing, it was interesting, it really hooked me in very quickly, and the world building also was super duper well done. It was very believable. Like, there wasn't anything where I was like, I don't think that could happen. It was like, yeah, okay. I also appreciated that even though there are romance elements in this book, it is not something that is like overtaking of the plot. Like, there's a lot going on underneath the surface of everything, and there's the way that Marie Lu is able to intertwine all of these stories and these compelling plots. I thought she did really, really well and very brilliantly, and I thought it was a really, really, really enjoyable read. In terms of dislikes, I would say I had very little that I disliked about this book. I wish that we had gotten to see more of their childhoods and more about like the understanding of the way that this world and this government works. I think that there's a lot to be explored there and uncovered there, and I hope that in the sequel and the third book that we explore that a little bit further. I want to see kind of more like the inner workings of everything and their past. I mean, these kids are only 15, but like, why do they take this test when they're 10? Like, why are we putting 10-year-olds through this? Like, what the heck? And like, that determines the rest of your life. That's like almost as crazy as the Sorting Hat telling you at 11 years old whether you're the good guy or a racist, pure blood, or if you're a Hufflepuff like me, and you just get kind of tossed to the side, or a Ravenclaw because you're smart. Like, geez Louise, people. 10 years old. These kids are 10. That's like, what is that? Second grade? What the heck? Anyway. So yeah, I really didn't have any true dislikes. I just had stuff that I think I wanted more of. I wanted more talk about the history, more talk about the family. How did we get here? Why are we here? I might do another review with spoilers because I have a lot of thoughts about it. I may wait until I've read more of the books. I have the other two in the series, so I'm trying to finish those out and see if I'll do a spoiler review maybe for the trilogy. But if people haven't had the chance to read it, I don't want to spoil anything. So overall, I would give this book a definite 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Once I got like 2 chapters into it, I literally couldn't put it down. I wish I had gotten this review out sooner because I finished it like 2 weeks ago and I wanted to talk about it then, and now I'm just kind of like, I should have talked about it right away. I definitely think it was worth 5 out of 5 stars in terms of fiction. I think this is a book that if you have already read it, if you reread it now, I think you're going to see it through different eyes, given, you know, the pandemic and where the state of things are currently in our world. And I think I would be curious to see how views change or how you see the book differently due to the time that we're living in. And if you haven't read it, I think that this is going to give you Hunger Games vibes with just a pinch more of reality almost to it. Yeah, I think it'll get, and you know, it has these kind of 1984 vibes with the way that the government kind of works and treats its citizens, and the way that people think and are being talked to by the government. And I mean, at least that's just me. I don't know if other people feel that way. If you have read this book before or have opinions about this book, please feel free to comment down below. I love to hear what other people think about books, especially if you disagree with me. My question for this week is, if you could live in any fictional universe, which one would you choose? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.